everyone, I'm Symphony Privet. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with uplifting stories across the country. Now, for many people, losing their hair can feel like losing a part of themselves. One woman in Texas is turning that experience into something powerful, redefining what confidence looks like. Jessica Cha spoke with the owner of Prairie Fire Hair Collection about her mission.
At first glance, Prairie Fire Hair Collection looks like most salons.
And all we have to do is just give it a little bit of a direction.
But for women who sit in Kelly Engram's chair,
I just cannot get over how much I love that length on you.
it's often the first step towards feeling like themselves again.
I've had one chemo.
Okay.
Most of Engram's customers are experiencing some kind of alopecia or hair loss.
Perhaps you were going through cancer treatments, or maybe you even have trichotillomania, which is, where you pull your hair.
So last year, Engram started making her own wigs and created a business out of it.
I keep coming back to this light Bernstein.
But her passion for selling wigs isn't just because she's obsessed with them.
There's curly, there's straight, there's blonde, there's brunette, there's black.
But it's also because she sat in the same seat her customers have.
So this is my personal wig, and I wear a wig grip.
Engram says she started experiencing alopecia in her 40s.
It affects your confidence in a way that you never even realized. When you have it, it's not an issue, but of course, when you lose it, it kind of becomes everything.
She says it can be something you constantly think about, but it's hard to talk about with others, and that can eat away at people.
I actually had a woman tell me that she was actually ready to end it all because she just didn't feel like herself anymore. She didn't feel worthy anymore.
So Engram says she's helping regrow people's confidence.
I can have short curly hair,
one wig at a time.
How I get to really know them as people and how I can understand what they're going through because I've done it myself. And it means the world to me.
Because no one should feel alone. And in her chair, you don't have to. In San Marcos, Jessica Cha.
Wow, so people may think, having hair or worrying about a hairstyle is vain, but you could see just how powerful having the right hairdo is to a person. Well, there's a statewide push in Florida now to help children in crisis. Annie Kroll shows us how resources are reaching kids who need them.
Makes a huge difference because, again, when you have someone who's experiencing those difficult times, when you're able to actually provide them something that at least provides a little bit of assistance and makes things just a little bit better for them, it's a big deal.
Temple Terrace police officers getting their own Bexley box on Wednesday.
You got toys, you got some food, you got some entertainment items, diapers that are in there.
Walmart has pledged more than $200,000 to fill these Bexley boxes from 126 Florida stores with a simple but lofty goal.
Well, I know we're going to reach out and get boxes to every law enforcement agency in the whole state of Florida.
I didn't know about the Bexley box until recently, so I did a little bit of research on it. The organization seems phenomenal.
That organization is the Brightigan Foundation, created by Kirsten Brightigan 7 months after her husband Jared was ambushed and shot to death outside his car in Jacksonville Beach. His 2-year-old daughter, Bexley, was inside, strapped into her car seat. She wound up at a police station 4 years ago and spent hours without basic toddler necessities.
That's it. So having something there that takes something off the officers, and it gives the kids something to disconnect with what's going on and just be able to focus on.
Hoping to keep these boxes restocked and replenished.
We don't want it to be a one and done sort of thing. This is something to continue our partnership, and Walmart has made it so much easier for us to be able to get this done in Florida.
That was Annie Kroll reporting from Florida. Bexley boxes are in more than a dozen states. The foundation says it's already had requests to ship internationally. That's wonderful. Now, for many dads, there's no manual for parenthood, but there is a program in Texas that's helping fathers build stronger connections with their families. One dad says the program taught him it is okay to ask for help. Ryan Hopper has more.
For Larry Medrano, fatherhood is the most important job he's ever had. And with 2 kids under 2, it's also the most demanding.
And that's crying. A lot of crying.
He's pursuing a PhD, but the School of Fatherhood is giving him a different degree first.
I will have a PhD in changing diapers first before I have my real PhD.
Jokes aside, Medrano says that the early stages of fatherhood came with plenty of uncertainty. That's when his fiancée told him about the United Way of the Coastal Bend's 24/7 Dad program.
I asked my Father in heaven if he would allow me to work with dads after working with children for practically 4 decades. That call, after serving as a children's ministry pastor for a year, that call came and I kind of looked up from that pit and went, so you're calling my bluff.
Jackson now leads the program, which brings fathers together to share experiences, learn from one another, and grow as parents.
And I was uncertain of the path forward raising 2 children under 2. And this program has been an enablement for me. It's shown me the value to be active, present, and engaged, but also to continue my journey as a father.
That journey teaching him an important lesson.
A lot of people can be fathers, but a dad is somebody that's active, present, and engaged. And that's the most important thing. Shh, it's okay, baby. It's okay. As they're learning, you're learning with them. As they're adapting, you're adapting with them. So with that, you can be vulnerable. A dad can be vulnerable, and it's okay, right? And you can share that into this group with the 24/7 Dad. And nobody's going to hold or judge you in any form or fashion. We're here to support each other. We're here to help each other.
Vulnerability, Medrano says he didn't always see growing up.
There's a lot of machismo in the household. I wanted to make sure that even though that I can be vulnerable around my children can be vulnerable around me, and it's okay.
A space where men are welcome to express themselves, whether you're a biological father or the father who stepped up.
If you are mentoring a child in any way, you belong here.
Ryan Hopper.
For 20 years now, the Miracle League in Arkansas has been giving kids with disabilities the opportunity to play. Raleigh Hoyt highlights the volunteers providing those opportunities.
So I love kids, I love baseball, and this is a perfect combination for me.
I've been playing for many years, and I've been playing since they started thinking about baseball.
For Keith and his friends, they've been thinking about baseball for more than 20 years.
They call me the pitcher. I was the first pitcher, and I'm still pitching.
Since in baseball, the pitcher and the catcher are called the battery, go ahead and call Tony Jenkins and Bill Mann Energizer Bunnies, serving up pitches so these special needs kids playing in the Miracle League get to show their skills every spring and fall. What did you think when they said you could play baseball?
Very happy.
What's your favorite part about it?
Making new friends every weekend.
Peggy McCall Robertson has been the driving force for 2 decades, bringing together volunteers. They offer young kids the chance to play just like their abled friends, and thanks to guys like Mann and Jenkins, they grow up together.
They have some of these young folks now have been on my team for 10, 15 years. So I've seen them grow up and develop their skills and get where they can really understand the rules and play baseball.
Over the years, technology has helped bring even more kids to the field. Now, even players like Jensen Foltz, blind his whole life, give new meaning to having a feel for the game. Special audible balls let him join in the fun.
I'm just so happy that God took me to this wonderful place. And I just love all the people here.
First and foremost, the adults are fans of baseball. And in 20 years, they figured out the important role they play in helping the kids become fans as well. What's the biggest hit you've ever had?
Or the home run, or the fence.
You get those all the time?
Yes.
How good's your slider?
My slider's not very good. I was never a pitcher. And so you saw the kid hit the home run off of me, so you tell how good a pitcher I am.
A lift off for the kids, a lift up for everyone involved.
I'm the first person that they see out there, and they look out and they say, this guy's a monster, and he's got this big ball glove and he's throwing balls at me. But when they hit the ball the first time and they light up, and it's awesome. You know, I got the best view on the whole field there.
You come out here, you've had a bad day at work, you get to interact with the kids and you leave with a totally different attitude. You know, it's just one of those things that gets into your blood and you can't quit.
At the end of the year, at the end of the day, rather, you're worn out, you're sunburned, you're tired, but you feel cleansed because you've done something for somebody that can't do it on their own. And it's awesome. It's the most awesome thing I've ever done in my life.
And that was Riley Hoyt reporting from Arkansas. Still ahead, a Virginia library is turning a missed milestone into a new celebration. How it's bringing back prom night for adults who never got the chance to go the first time. And an Indiana hospice home is making sure all of its patients can enjoy life no matter their circumstances. They're creating special memories for a man battling cancer. Welcome back. A celebration decades in the making. A library in Virginia offered the chance to experience prom in a way some never have before. And the result made a positive impact in dozens of lives. Sean Martinelli takes us to the event to get to the heart of it.
For couples like Ron Bookbinder and James Fisher, the celebration arrived decades late. But leave it to a library to welcome what's overdue.
I'm 69 years old, and in my little railroad town in West Virginia, I did not go to my prom.
I grew up in the deep South on the Alabama-Tennessee state line, so I didn't go to prom, and it feels really, really good.
An opportunity to wear sparkly clothes and dance.
But pants.
But pants.
You didn't need a date. You didn't even need to be a senior for this senior prom.
Not everyone grew up in an environment where they could feel safe to come out. So I think it's really special that they can make new memories around prom.
Arlington Public Library's Senior Pride Prom offered a do-over.
It's amazing.
It's how it should be.
To now be able to take my husband to the prom, to experience the joy, the romance, the dancing, the music, will be really special.
Means everything.
Yeah.
It's so special.
It's a dream to have her be here with me at prom.
A dream most here once didn't think possible.
I never could have imagined that they would have prom to celebrate LGBTQ people.
I couldn't have. I don't know about you.
No, I don't think so.
I'm a trans guy, and I could have never imagined that I would be able to go to prom as myself, and beyond that I would wear a dress willingly and be happy about it.
The celebration may have been long overdue, but the couples here say the timing was just right. The chance to not only attend prom, but to do so with pride. In Arlington, Virginia, Sean Martinelli.
What a beautiful story. I'm so glad they had the opportunity to relive that moment that they didn't get to years ago. Now, youth don't have to worry about that as much as maybe they did when they were younger. When time becomes your most precious resource, the little things can mean everything. And one nonprofit in Indiana is working to make dreams come true for people with little time left. Emily Longnecker shares how one man's final request started with a song he just couldn't get out of his head.
Tucked away just off of Keystone Avenue and 52nd Street sits a sprawling home many don't even know is there. But to the people who find their way here, it's exactly where they're meant to be.
Yeah, Morning Light since 2004 has been a free home for the terminally ill in need.
A place where people like Patrick Armstrong can live out their final days surrounded by caregivers who quickly become like family.
Enjoyed being here. I'm so lucky to be here. I'm so blessed to be here.
At Morning Light, caring for residents like Patrick isn't just measured by medicine and treatments, though. It's also about helping them experience joy, connection, and one less special memory through their Making Memories program.
So we say to people, hey, okay, yeah, we have terminal illness, but you're home now. You're around your friends. We're all here to support you through this. But hey, what would you want to do? Is there a wish that you want to do, something fun we can look forward to?
For Patrick, that meant asking to go hear live music.
We just wait to find out what's in someone's heart and then what we can actually make happen on the other side of that.
But when your body's getting tired from fighting a terminal illness like Patrick's is, looking forward to anything can be challenging. Just to walk a few steps from his room to the garden outside requires a cane. Cancer's taken a steep toll on the 57-year-old's body. Fighting the disease has already involved several procedures and surgeries.
When I wake up from anesthesia, it's kind of strange.
Strange because every time, this is what Patrick hears.
Because he had a Christopher Cross song in his head while he's going through his treatment.
And Patrick will be there. This time, not just hearing those words in his head, but living them. In Indianapolis, Emily Longnecker, 13.
All right, coming up after the break, a farm hidden between neighborhoods in Idaho has a new mission. We'll tell you how it's helping veterans cultivate a new future. And still ahead, a powerful new mural in Connecticut is amplifying the voices and stories of the deaf and blind communities. How a lot of people worked together to make it all happen. Welcome back. A city in Idaho is growing by the day. So finding 20 acres of open farmland inside Boise city limits is pretty rare. Well, now a historic piece of land is being put to use in a new way, helping military veterans learn the skills needed to launch a farm, launch a business, or just simply reconnect with the land. As Hunter Funk shows us, the New Harvest Heroes program is turning a piece of Boise history into a place of opportunity.
In the shadow of new neighborhoods and busy roads, there's a place where Boise's agricultural roots are still growing.
1 row or 2?
This is a 20-acre historic homestead that was once owned by the Spalding family in 1896. More specifically, Mary Spalding, who was the first female surgeon and doctor in Boise. Well, since then, it is now owned by the city of Boise, and their plans for this 20 acres is to keep it exactly how it was intended. For agriculture.
Oh, this is one of my favorite ones.
The city of Boise bought Spalding Ranch a decade ago.
This is a one-of-a-kind, unique park property that we just have never done before in the city.
It's tucked into Boise's West Bench, preserved in the middle of an increasingly urban landscape.
We've been slowly chipping away and really trying to make it a community space that really intersects agriculture, history, and just a great community location for people to come enjoy.
Now,
do you think it's helpful to break up these roots a little bit, Ariel? Or?
It's becoming the home of a new mission, thanks to a partnership between the city and the University of Idaho.
We have been developing programs to assist military veterans interested in agriculture since about 2019, when we started the first Harvest Heroes program at the Liberty Veterans Garden in Nampa. We ran that for a few years, and when that funding ran dry, we moved to some other projects, but just recently we've gotten funding again to have the on-farm component back. And we've been working with the city of Boise for quite a while in hopes that Spalding Ranch would be the home for that program eventually.
And eventually came.
We're here! Happy Garden Day! It's so exciting!
The USDA is now funding the project with a 3-year, $744,000 grant, which is helping veterans learn agriculture from the soil up.
And one of the ways is to have them join us on an incubator farm, go through the season-long planning, planting, harvesting, marketing, learning everything that you can about running an urban farm, and get that experience and use that experience to then launch to the next step, whether that's them taking it on themselves, growing a business, or maybe just deciding, you know, I'm going to grow for my family or kind of create a homestead, and that's where my interest is.
For veteran Tony Huntley, the program came at just the right time.
About 3 years ago, I got a wake-up call from the VA Medical, And it kind of changed my life, and I decided that what I was interested in at that time was no longer really mattered. And so I decided that I'm going to get out and I'm going to figure out how to grow stuff.
He got outside, went to the extension classes, and now this program continues to grow his interest in the process of farming.
Skills I'm getting, I had no idea. If you walk over to my home garden, it's like a scattering of plants in some raised beds. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So this is really great because it gives you the planting skills and then what to look for in plants and in soils, how plants interact with each other, and how to rotate your crops to make sure that your soil is ready for your next planting.
Program leaders say many veterans they've worked with share something in common. There's a connection to giving back to the community.
Ooh, striped German. This one's really cool.
And while planting is later than they'd like to start this season, the garden is just getting started. And organizers hope what's planted here grows into something much bigger, especially in a city that keeps getting bigger.
Finding pockets like this, whether it's for a park or a farm or an open space, are going to become even harder. And so, yeah, I think we feel really lucky that we're able to really create this one-of-a-kind space for this neighborhood to enjoy.
That was Hunter Funk reporting from Idaho. The Harvest Heroes program is free for veterans and their families. Organizers say participants can eventually move into their own incubator plots to test out farm business ideas with support from mentors and the University of Idaho Extension staff. What a valuable experience just across the board, and I can't wait to see what they're up to in the future. Hopefully we get an update. All right, still ahead this morning, turning tragedy into hope. We'll show you how one woman in Texas is helping children heal after losing someone to suicide. And an unfamiliar route for a Georgia garbage man led him straight to a woman in need. How his mission to get her back on her feet became a story they'll both never forget. Thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you uplifting stories across the country. A woman in Texas suffered an unimaginable loss, but somehow found a way to use it to help others heal. Kevin Reese shares her story.
We had a place with a rope and arena and the barn and all the horses. And
the book Trina Ruffino made in 2017.
I don't know, it was my dream setup.
She titled The Good Life. It was, until
you don't expect anything.
The following year.
My husband took his life in 2018, and our family was just completely shattered.
Michael Ruffino had private struggles and became one of an estimated 49,000 people who choose to take their lives in the U.S. each year. And then
we didn't know what to do, where to go.
There's the collateral damage, Trina and their teenage son.
There's this shame and stigma there because no one understands why this happens. It hit me a few years later when I realized, gosh, there's got to be a reason I'm here.
That reason became Project Unbroken, a nonprofit to help the children left behind. 2,300 in Texas alone who lose a parent to suicide each year.
So my husband passed away of suicide in October of 2023.
Like Sarah Tollison's 3 children, left behind by her husband's death.
Project Unbroken gives a lot of hope to people who suddenly have to deal with a life afterwards that can feel very isolating and very lonely.
The nonprofit paid for her daughter to take yoga classes, her son to keep taking trips with his school marching band, her oldest to take college courses, motivation to keep living their lives and not become statistics too.
To help keep kids in their activities, to see some hope beyond, their grief.
Helping ease that grief, Project Unbroken has helped more than 100 families this way so far. And with donations and grants and fundraising, they hope to help even more.
And so what she's doing is incredible, and I couldn't be more thankful for her.
A service Trina wishes wasn't necessary, but it is.
Yes, I'm doing it in my own way. Yeah, by helping others.
By keeping their lives unbroken, too. In Combine, Texas, I'm Kevin Reese.
One San Diego boy waited 2 months for Big Brother's Big Sister mentors, but his sister only waited 2 weeks. Abby Black shares why so many boys are still waiting and what the organization is doing to change that with the Men Who Show Up campaign.
John Schwartz Torres took his shot, and so did Ricky. But Big Brother's Big Sister says right now, thousands of San Diego boys are still waiting for someone to show up on their court. That someone could be you.
You're clutch, Ricky.
This is more than just basketball at Spring Valley County Park.
Try and like arc it with one hand, yeah? Like, here, I'll show you.
Just like the game, the friendship took some practice.
So it's like this, flick. Okay. With your wrist, look, like this. Can you do this?
John Schwartz Torres and 11-year-old Ricky met in the summer of 2024. Ricky in 2nd grade, John a junior at UC San Diego.
You know, growing up, my dad, he lived out of state, so I didn't really have that male mentor growing up, so I really wanted to be that long-term presence in someone's life.
And Big Brother's Big Sisters spoke to him.
I waited for 2 months to get my match for the Big Brother and Big Sister program. My sister waited 2 weeks.
Ricky is not alone. Big Brother's Big Sisters says 75% of boys are on a wait list for a big. The majority are Latino.
A lot of times families come to us because a boy is lacking a male role model in their life. And today, even more so, the news has been sounding the alarms that boys in our community, in our entire country, are becoming more disconnected and isolated than ever. We're seeing mental health issues rise. And all of that is really creating a collective concern for our boys, and it's come to a crisis.
The numbers are stark. Nearly 1 in 4 men under 30 report no close friends, 5 times more than in 1990. Young men are 4 times more likely than women to die by suicide. Governor Newsom is now calling on 10,000 men statewide to mentor and serve, and CBS 8 is joining that effort, partnering with Big Brothers Big Sisters on a new campaign called Men Who Show Up.
And it's the most scalable solution that we have to solve mental health, helping kids be ready for the workforce and really just be successful adults.
It's simply about showing up, and the commitment is smaller than you might think. Just 2 outings, 2 hours a month for 6 months, but many friendships last years.
We believe that boys and all our youth, they don't need perfection. They just need your presence.
Bigs can be as young as 18. Even John, now studying for the MCAT, always finds time.
I would say, you know, you can always find time in your life for something like this.
College wasn't in Ricky's future until he met John. Now he has big dreams.
I wanted to be a construction worker, but then I realized that a doctor might be very cooler. I can help people out like he does with me.
There we go.
John took that shot, and it changed them both.
As much as I think I've probably taught him, being with him and being a mentor has taught me, you know, so much. It's really helped me get in touch with my values and what is important to me in life.
For the Men Who Show Up,
you want to get spin on it.
Abby Black.
There we go.
Some bold strokes are taking shape in Connecticut. A new 1,500 square foot mural is coming to life, celebrating the deaf, blind, and hard of hearing communities in the region where American Sign Language got its start. The project serves as a fitting tribute and a major community collaboration. Jim Altman takes us there.
Well, every mural is meant to send a message, and this one in West Hartford isn't just supersized, it's amplified. He is setting the scene. Muralist Michael Rice largely communicates with his hands. She is setting the scene. American School for the Deaf art teacher Christine Ferreira largely communicates with her hands. And now Michael and Christine are working hand in hand. In West Hartford's Blueback Square, multicolors and multicultures are blending to send a bigger message.
So the big message is recognition of the deaf community.
At the library, 3 stories will soon illustrate a new chapter, celebrating the deaf and blind community.
For example, we have Laurent Claire, who was the first deaf professor of deaf people here in West Hartford, Connecticut.
It's been a 2-year initiative brought by West Hartford Public Schools.
What we're really trying to drill home here is access to communication. And so I think what we really wanted to do here is celebrate that and show that especially here in West Hartford, there is access to communication, and put some people up on this wall that might not always look exactly like the student next to them, and we want to celebrate them and show them that we see them and we hear them.
So my role here is to help really show the deaf community, to show ASL, to show deaf access, and to show what our world looks like and how we can do anything.
Isaac Scheith is a 5th grader at nearby Charter Oak International Academy.
Thank you.
For him, this is much more than just a pretty picture.
I really like how it has so many different types of things, people with hearing aids, people using sign language.
And Isaac's vision is that these bricks will help people see a wider window into his world.
Yes, and I want everyone to know that the deaf and hard of hearing community are equal with the hearing community, that we're all the same, and this is another way that you can learn more about us. I feel very honored, I feel very proud to be involved in this, and it feels very special to be here. I'm just so thrilled to be able to do this and work with him, and also to do this for the community as well.
In West Hartford, Connecticut, Jim Altman for Featured.
A simple change in routes led one Georgia trash collector to a woman in need, and it turned into a friendship neither of them will forget. Madison Ricks has more.
On every neighborhood corner, you can see these red bins lining the streets.
Now you take the same route every time except that day. But that's my Friday route, my every route every Friday.
But sometimes you don't see the man behind the wheel picking up your trash every day.
It's been plenty of time I see somebody that can't get to the can, it's too heavy for them. Get out and get it for them, just something good for the day.
This is Charles Hollingshed. He takes the same route every day, hustling to clear the bins from the road. But one particular Friday, he took a different path, which led him to an unusual discovery.
And as I'm going down the street, I had to turn around and coming down her road and seeing her just sitting on the ground, and I seen the walker beside her, so I knew something had to be wrong.
Hollingshed says he didn't expect to see someone calling for help, but he says he's glad his path led to her. She had fallen and been calling out for help for over an hour before he stopped to help her up.
The last thing I expected to see is somebody just sitting on the ground just wanting some help. And I'm just glad I was there to help her out.
And now a routine stop has turned into something much more, a new friendship in a woman who now calls him her guardian angel.
She told me if she's not outside, come knock on the door and speak to her and stuff like that, so kind of gained a friend.
That was Madison Ricks reporting from Georgia. The garbage man says he's already talked to his supervisor about getting her on the collection list. So whether she's taking out the trash or outside on her own, she has one less thing to worry about. Love that one. All Black-owned businesses have lined the historic 9th Street in Little Rock, Arkansas for decades now. We'll show you how one man's story is a reminder living history is still among us. And pet therapy with a smile. We'll introduce you to the nonprofit Love on a Leash. A free pet therapy organization in California is looking for both volunteers and new places to visit. Jeff Zevely introduces us to Love on a Leash.
It was just a normal day here at Legacy Care until all of this love was unleashed.
How are you?
Love on a Leash just arrived at this adult daycare center with 4 adorable friends.
Oh, you're giving him kisses, Camry. Woo!
Dogs wear patches that read, "Please pet me."
I like the dogs. They make me feel special.
They're good for emotional support when you're upset.
Does he smell good?
Sue Subco is a longtime volunteer for the nonprofit.
We instantly get filled with pure joy.
Her father, Arnold Fluster, was an Air Force veteran. 17 years ago, Arnold had heart trouble and received a visit from a therapy dog in a hospital.
And I said, Dad, how was your day? And he said, it was great. And I said, why was it great? And he said, because a dog came to visit me. And I honestly had a light bulb moment. I said, when I get a dog that's well behaved enough, I want to give back and bring that joy to other people.
Sue dedicates every visit to her dad.
Whether it's a 2-year-old that's got learning disabilities or somebody in hospice, we do all of it.
Love on a Leash also visits jails, where some inmates haven't petted a dog in years.
The smell of a dog and the love that that dog gives brought tears, and it's just a flood of emotion and a flood of gratitude, and they deeply appreciate it.
Sue says there's just something about the unconditional love of a dog.
They don't care how rich we are. They don't care, what we look like.
This is Bo. You may not know him by name, but he's kind of the Brad Pitt of pet therapy, and the ladies love him.
Ariel, do you like when the doggies come to say hi?
Yes.
I know you do.
Ariel is blind and can't see Bo, but she can feel his fur, as well as that huge smile across her face.
I can feel the doggy.
You want to know how you can make their day better.
Jamie Colby takes her therapy dog, Kaya, wherever they're welcome.
Everybody is a somebody.
Love on a Leash will also visit with cats and rabbits.
People love bunnies. Yes, yes.
Best of all, along with the smiles, you'll love the price tag of a visit. It's all free.
We're all volunteers, yep. We're good people doing good things for free.
In the Zevely Zone,
I think it boils down to kindness.
Jeff Zevely.
All right, up next, we are introducing you to a man whose story is a reminder living history is still among us. For more than 5 decades, an Arkansas business owner has been shining shoes and building relationships. And as Journey Taylor shows us, he spent decades on historic 9th Street long before his current shop.
At 81 years old, he still comes to work with the same purpose he found more than half a century ago.
Shoe shine, I shined shoes in high school about 3 or 4 years in downtown on Louisiana, called the Johnny Shoe Shop.
A trade he learned as a young man. For 56 years, he's been the right call to make if you need your shoes shined in Central Arkansas.
Ansel Wright, and my title is servant. I'm a working servant.
Today, Wright's Shine Parlor sits on the quiet corner of 6th and Scott Streets, downtown. But when he started the business back in 1970, shortly after, he occupied a space on the historic 9th Street.
9th and Arch in the Carburetor building for 22 years.
He later moved across the street for another 12 years before relocating again. But his connection to 9th Street goes far beyond business.
That was my playing ground before it was my working ground. And I was familiar with 9th Street since 1950. And I used to be amazed of the trolley car.
He remembers a time when everything a person needed could be found on the street.
It had everything down. It had funeral homes, black policemen. So everything that you wanted, you can get it on 9th Street. Had the newspaper, State Press, and Southern Media Journal. Everything you wanted.
Wright's story serves as a reminder that the people who lived that history are still here to tell it. And he says the lessons he learned over the years,
poor folks and rich folks get shoe shine,
have little to do with shoes.
Being able to interact with people, young and old, black and white, rich and poor, of all professions, all over the state of Arkansas, you can meet and talk to everybody. Or listen. Listen is the beginning of learning.
A husband, a father, a great-grandfather, and a deacon at his church. Mr. Wright says there is no plan to slow down anytime soon. In fact, he's looking to expand his business and continue to serve.
Now, some people ask me, when are you going to retire? I said, when it's time. you know, so I'm 81 now, and 82, and I still feel energetic.
In Little Rock, Journey Taylor.
At one theater in Texas, you can catch a show and be part of it. Sean Giggy shows us how.
Imagine you're at Meow Wolf, the interactive art experience in Grapevine, exploring all the odd oddities when something odder appears.
Oh my goodness.
This walking laundry basket, known as Lintley Foldsworth, and his friends are part of the new live immersive theater experience at Meow Wolf called Phenomenally.
We found the things we need.
Unlike a typical theater performance, there's no fourth wall. The entire exhibition is the stage.
So we have roaming characters that interact with all of our guests, and they're on a mission and they need your help.
Oh yes, we would love any and all help we can get. It takes all sorts of creative minds.
I hope there are tons and tons and tons of Earthlings that come help me find the things that we need.
Every hour, this cast of characters appears, and they're on a mission to help creatures called flickerworms migrate from one dimension to another. To make that happen, they're trying to find the things they need. Consider it a scavenger hunt, and they need your help. Once those objects have been located, the show ends with an otherworldly performance. Lintley and his friends hope you find it strange, captivating, and oh, so much fun.
It's this great celebration of creativity and joy.
It is like nothing you've ever witnessed before. It is so cool.
And quite the phenomenally.
And that was Sean Giggy reporting from Texas. Coming up, one of the most threatened animals in the world is getting new attention in North Georgia. How a wellness program could help protect endangered penguins. It's definitely not your typical yoga class, but the goal goes far beyond stretching. It's about building a connection because the people behind this program say that is where conservation really begins. Here's Caitlin Ross.
Up close, it's hard not to be drawn in.
The one I am holding right now is Pip. She's about 8-9 months old.
Each penguin has its own personality, and here they're the ones in charge of every interaction.
And they are very unique animals. I definitely love their personalities.
At the North Georgia Wildlife Park and Safari, the experience is built around choice, not just for the people who excitedly sign up, but for the penguins themselves.
We will do one session a day. If they want to be pet, they will go up to people, and if they don't, they won't.
It's what they call free choice. The penguins decide who they approach, when they engage, and when they'd rather keep their distance. And that respect is part of a bigger mission.
Humans don't act unless we care. No one cares unless we have a personal connection, right?
Because behind the fun, there's a serious reality. Penguins are facing growing threats around the world.
Because of habitat loss, oil pollution, overfishing. So we do actually have a couple breeding pairs and mated pairs here. So we've actually had some babies hatched here, which is super, super exciting because every number counts with these guys.
That's why this program exists.
Most people come just for the penguins, and sometimes they don't even do yoga.
That was Caitlin Ross reporting. Now, the yoga might get people in the door, but the real takeaway is that connection between people and the penguins, and that connection could play a small part in protecting these animals for the future. And the park says every interaction is designed with that goal in mind, letting the penguins lead and helping people leave with a new reason to care. I love that. I've heard of puppy yoga or even goat yoga, but penguin yoga. It's pretty cool. All right, that is it for this episode of Featured. Until next time, make it a great one.